Chakras. I'm going to talk about chakras, but first I have to talk about the basis of why I'm here and what I do. My goal and my intention with everybody that comes in is to increase their vitality. It is very important to understand that movement is life. Without movement, you are nothing, you are not alive. And how do we differentiate between something that is physically alive and something that is physically dead? It's movement. What do? They take your pulse. They look at the heart activity if you're alive or not. Well, there's a big difference between being fully vitally alive and just alive. And that's why I'm here, and that's why people come to me. I will increase your vitality using the techniques that I use. The primary technique that I do is chiropractic, and that is the absolute most important, top of the line, can help with 90% of what's going on with somebody just by doing chiropractic. And to understand how I integrate chakras into what I do, I have to first explain the chiropractic purpose and why we do chiropractic. Life, again, is movement. Without movement, you are not alive. And in one of my other videos, I talked about the difference between low vitality and high vitality, and what does that mean? And we talked about having a building over here and a building over here, and the building over here is a building that houses a daycare, and there's a big window that you can walk up and look into. And this building over here is a building that has a nursing home, and you can walk up and look over here. And if you pretend and follow me, and I'm looking over here into the daycare, and I'm looking at the people inside there versus the people inside here in the nursing home, the biggest difference is movement. Both of them are alive, but there's much more movement and vitality in this area. What's important to understand is that structure determines function. How your body's lined up is going to affect on how well it moves physically and more. And I'll get to that in a minute. And so when you come in and your back is out or your neck is out, or you find that you're waking up in the morning and it's harder to get out of bed, or going from a sitting position to a standing position, or you're having some issues with your neck and low back, well, you come to me and I use the activator and chiropractic to increase your vitality, to balance out your body and allow those joints to move more freely. That is so important because movement determines your vitality. And everybody knows when you're not feeling good and something hurts, your vitality goes down the drain. You do not feel good and you don't feel like doing much. It's going to affect you physically, emotionally. It's going to affect you mentally. It's going to really get on you. One of the things that also affects vitality is movement. The movement that you may not be able to see. And that's where we're going to talk about chakras. Chakras are essential. They are emotional energies in the body that start from down here, emotional centers in the body that start from down here and go to the top of your head. Just as important as the movement in your neck, as the movement in your low back, as the movement in your body, these emotional centers need to move as well. They are the behind the scenes of your vitality. There's many components of vitality. When we talk about basic chiropractic, we're talking about the physical. When we add on additional things like the trigger points, like the chakras, like the meridians, like the auric field, and so on, we are going deeper and deeper and deeper into what the levels of vitality are. Someone could have a fully functioning, perfectly balanced physical body, but when their emotional body or their emotional state is not right, their vitality goes down the drain. And that's why it's so important to address the emotional part. I'm going to do another video on why emotions are so important, and the emotional state will determine the physical state, but that's a different video. So I'm going to talk about chakras and how they directly affect your vitality. We talked about the physicalness, the joints of the body. Well, the emotional state of the body is also really important. And these energies and these flowing energies need to flow. And what can happen over time through experience, life experience, and direct result from physical trauma can cause these chakras to slow down and to become what I call muddy. It's a David a Dr. David term, I just call it muddy. And they become muddy and they're just not moving like they're supposed to. They're working on low battery, on power save mode, and they're still working, but your vitality slowly goes down and down and down. And so by adding the plus to the basic treatment, you will get a full assessment of the chakras, the emotional chakra centers from here to here, and I will treat them accordingly. And a lot of people will say, well, how in the world would you treat a chakra? Well, you treat lack of movement with movement. For example, physically with the spine, you'll come in and I find that there's a problem in your low back area, and I'll use the activator, which is an instrument that delivers a very specific impulse at a certain rate into the joint, essentially introducing movement into that joint to get it moving again. It's stuck, and sometimes you need to punch it or pop it to get it moving again. The old-fashioned chiropractic would crack it. Well, that's old-fashioned. We use something a little bit more gentle now, the activator, which delivers a very quick impulse into that joint, resetting the joint and getting it moving again. Movement is life. When these chakras, these energy centers, stop moving like they're supposed to, we need to get them moving again, and that's the key. Vibration is movement. So the activator will deliver an impulse, delivering a frequency, which creates a movement into the body. And that's really important. When something's stuck, what do? You move it. When your drain in your house is not flowing like it's supposed to, what do? You plunge it, which causes movement in the drain. And when you can break up that blockage, it starts to flow again. And that's the same thing with the chakras. I'm not going to get into detail of all of the chakras, but there are chakras that start here: the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye, and the crown chakra. Very, very important for these chakras to be able to be balanced so you can express your emotional life energy. And the way I do that is through an assessment process that is included if you choose the Basic Plus treatment. And that's the difference between the $45 treatment and the $75 treatment. You're getting a lot for the $75 treatment. You're getting your chiropractic, you're getting your trigger points, you're getting your chakras, you're getting your meridians, you're getting your auric field, and so on. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give an example of how I would treat a chakra. It's very interesting. All right, table's going to take you from a standing position to a lying position. What's important to understand is every treatment begins with chiropractic. Most important part of the treatment. I'll get you to bend both knees and back down. The absolute most important part of this treatment is chiropractic. Chiropractic is such a valuable therapeutic treatment that can help alleviate so many issues with the body. Once I've checked and balanced the patient out using chiropractic, starting at the bottom of the feet to the top of the head, side to side, front to back, using the activator and the methods that I use with activator, treating any areas that I find. And this part of the treatment takes about maybe 5 to 10 minutes. If you choose the Basic Plus treatment, I will go on and do an assessment and treat accordingly. And the way I treat chakras is using these bowls here. They're not just pretty, but they do have a function. Just like the activator uses an impulse to deliver the treatment, it uses movement where there is a lack of movement. It puts movement into a joint that is lacking movement. I'm going to use the chakra bowls. Now, the way I determine where these areas are is I do a reflex test based on what's going on with a person. So, for example, there are different chakra bowls, but let's say I find that the patient's solar plexus, which is located in this area, is not working properly. It's a little bit muddy. And the solar plexus essentially is the energy center, the emotional energy center for the body. So I'm going to take the solar plexus chakra bowl, place it over the area, just like the activator induced or delivered an impulse or movement into the body in a specific area. These bowls are going to do the same thing. So very gentle tap to activate the bowl, and I'm going to further activate this chakra bowl, delivering the vibration directly into the body. And what this does, the vibration of the bowl gets absorbed by the body and allows that chakra area to absorb that vibration, break down any muddiness, and start vibrating at the rate that it's supposed to. Each of the chakra bowls that I have here vibrate at a different level. This is the solar plexus. Just as an example, this would be the throat chakra bowl, which is a blue color, a little bit of a higher tone. So this vibration enters the physical body and activates any areas, for example, the area of the throat chakra, allowing that vibration to take effect in that area and break up any kind of muddiness. And the muddiness is, I use that term because it's a good term to use. But we can use the chakra therapy as a really important additional therapy to help someone, because movement is life. And when things aren't moving in the body, sometimes we can see the movement. For example, if it's your elbow or if it's your low back, if the low back's not moving properly, your vitality goes down. You come to me, we use the chiropractic, we balance it out, you feel much better, you're able to move, joints are moving better, muscles are moving better. But the emotional centers in the body are so very important to address those as well. And I use the chakra bowls as my preferred method to revitalize those areas and bring them back to life, reducing any kind of muddiness and increasing vitality. Emotional vitality is so important, just as or more important than your physical. I'll get you to bend both knees. I'm going to bring you back up. And again, depending on how long you've been on the table, we'll determine how many stops we make on the way up. If you've been down just for a few minutes, we'll stop for a few seconds midway. This allows the body time to get used to being in the upright position again. And we'll bring you the rest of the way up. So the chakra therapy, a really, really valuable therapy. Movement is life. And so we look at the physical, and then we also look at the chakra areas, and we use the vibration from the bowl to activate or eliminate or reduce that muddiness in that area. And what do you feel after you've had a chakra treatment? You feel much more relaxed. You feel much more reconnected. You feel like your whole central nervous system has been reset. And again, this is a therapy that I include in the Basic Plus.